Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with Lenoir Fashion Girl. So thank you for coming to my page. So I am on this whole journey of, sorry, by the way, I'm sounding a little nasal. I don't know if I'm coming down with something, but nonetheless. So I'm on this whole journey of rediscovering my makeup. Especially as a dark-skinned woman, I see that now in the industry, a lot of makeup companies and brands are becoming more friendly with deeper skin tones, such as myself. I've always been into makeup. I've always been into all of the beauty aspect of things that individuals can use. And the whole thing is that even though I've always been into it, I have never been into it as in really investing myself and my time in truly, bringing my skin to life. So, like I've always been to it. For example, I have a million brushes. I have a million pieces of makeup, different foundations and this and that. And I think part of it is because of me having a deeper skin tone. I'm always trying to figure out. And I think many of you guys may be also on that journey as well of trying to figure out what works and what does not work. So I just want to start off with you guys, and I want you guys to follow along with me on this journey of discovering the makeups, the products that really work well with my deeper skin tones. Definitely like, subscribe, drop some comments, give me some feedback about what you like, what do you think about the foundation and the products that I'm going to be using. I'm not a pro by any magnitude, so just bear with me. So let's begin. So first thing first, the whole skincare routine needs to be done before. You want to make sure you have your moisturizers and all of those creams just to serve as a barrier. And then in addition, after you're doing all of that, some people may use the moisturizers as their barrier. But for me, I have that in addition to primer and melt. The Hydro Grip Primer base is really good. A lot of people always speak highly of it. It's been working well with me. I've been using it for several months, and I love it. So I just very simply squeeze it, and then I just rub it onto my skin as well. So this is like a third barrier because for me, and I'll do another skin prep routine video where I show you how I ultimately am putting on the creams to set the skin before I start adding all these products, because it's so important that you do this just to preserve your skin ultimately, because these products ultimately, when you're just leaving it, if you're not washing it off at night or whatever it is, it's going to ruin your skin. My skin definitely has some uneven tones, so that's where I'm going to definitely incorporate other products. So for me, I am not a big eye person, but for this, I think I'm going to try it out for this video with you guys for the first time. So the first thing I'm going to do are my eyebrows, and I have another brush, the brush that I would normally use, but I don't know. I think I left it upstairs. So you definitely want to use like an angle brush. So this is where I'm going to be working on my eyebrows first and foremost. And you definitely want to have a brush. There are eyebrow primers that you can also put, and gels that you can use to assist you as well. But for me, just because this is just a basic start, this is truly beginner status, take your time. So this is the Estee Lauder, let's see, Estee Lauder, I don't even know the number anymore. I've had it for so long. As you see, it's almost done. And this definitely is not my skin tone, right? Because you want something that's going to highlight the eyebrows. So for me, I'm going to be looking in my other mirror because I feel like I'm going to look here and I'm going to throw it off. So you want to start from the interior aspect and work your way out. And I'm just smoothing out my eyebrows just a little bit more. You want to brush up and out Because if you're not brushing up and out, and if you just brush straight across, then your eyebrows are going to look thinner than what it really is, so that if you feel that you want to fill it in, when it's brushed up, it gives you the real fullness of the brow. So now I'm going to work my way. So this is just pretty much helping to shape the eyebrow itself. I don't like how I went all the way down here, but it's okay. And so with the eyebrow, you're giving shape to it. You really want to take time to blend it out. And this can also serve as a primer on the eyelid as well for eyeshadows if you're going to put it. Or you can use an actual shadow primer like this, like from Urban Decay. So I like to also line the top just so I see like the perimeters of my eyebrow. I strongly recommend you use the concealer to just clean it up so that it pops. You don't want your eyebrows to have extra straggling pieces and you do your whole face and then your eyebrows are just like meh. So definitely take the time to do that. I like my eyebrows full. Some people really, it's all preferential, right? You want whatever you feel works for your face. For me, I've always loved a nice thick brow. I'm just using this brush to just clean it up a bit. I wanted to color in my brows and then I'm like back and forth, like doing Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion Anti-Aging Long-Lasting Eyeshadow Base. Like I said, I'm not a big eyeshadow person, so don't kill me. I'm just going to use my finger. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to dip out, squeeze out a little bit because it's very thick, literally, like a little knob. And I'm going to use it and as you start to apply the other products, ultimately, as you're applying the other products, like the eyes, you know, things can just like fall all over the place and mess up and get messy. So it's easier if you already have that done, so that you could just work on the circumferential aspect, right? Okay. So I'm just gonna use this little palette from CoverGirl. It's an eyeshadow palette that I've had forever, and I was like, oh, I haven't used it in forever, so I'm just gonna play around with some of these colors. For someone with a deeper skin tone, I would definitely recommend, and look at me giving out some little recommendations, but for someone with a deeper skin tone, I would like a black or something dark, like the dark browns, those as the base, and then you can add a little extra color on top. It just looks good. It definitely pops. So once again, not a pro, beginner, so be patient with me, come along with me. So I don't know if it's a smoky eye, not a smoky eye, so I'm just gonna start on the outside portion, and you see that already? All right, so this part definitely varies from person to person. For me, I like to apply my foundation. That's as far as I'm gonna go with my eyes. I'm not gonna act too crazy. I'm not gonna be too extra with it. I'm still a beginner. Right? So I'm gonna get a foundation brush. So I got this really good Makeup Forever brush at an event that was hosted by Makeup Forever years ago. And this brush does wonders. I just found it recently amongst all my brushes that I hadn't used in forever, and I love it. So what I'm gonna do, I like to just squeeze it out and dab it already, because this is like full coverage type vibes, but it's still light. I love Fenty. I thought, you know, as a deeper skin tone individual, I've always used different products. I've used Makeup Forever. I've used a lot of different products, but this just definitely works. And so what I'm doing right now is just trying to set a base of evening out my skin. And then from there, some people say don't put too much here, especially, and just leave it to put the concealer. Mine's, it depends on the day, so I just lightly put it there, not too much in these areas. The eyebrows don't look too, I mean, the eyeshadow doesn't look too crazy, but for beginner status, it works. It works, guys, it works. All right, so I'm gonna probably add another coat of foundation on after, but let's get into our concealers. So I have so many different concealers that I like to use. I used to always consistently use this Makeup Forever full coverage concealer. And I mean, if you really look at these, and then I have like an Estee Lauder and I have a Sephora brand, they all do different purposes. But for the purpose of this, for today, I'm gonna use what I've been using lately that I've been liking, which is a Doublewear. So, concealer. You wanna apply it in the areas that you wanna like have highlighted. So for me, I like to do something very lightly amidst the bridge of my nose. It doesn't have to go all the way down, because you're gonna also use a contour highlight to help to contour your nose as well. And then under the eyes, some individuals can do dots. There's so many different ways. For me, what has been working, because I feel like I need a lot, ultimately determines like how much of it. But I want dramatic, especially if, you know, it varies. It depends on what you're going for. If you're going for basic, then you don't need all this. But if you're like going out with your boo, with your girlfriends, boyfriends, whomever, then yeah. Okay, so you start off with this, and then if you need to add extra, then you add it on. So you want to do it lightly at first so that it provides you the opportunity to add on as you go. So I'm going to use a blending sponge, and I'm going to lightly dampen it up. You want it to be damp. So this is the blending sponge that I'm talking about. Beauty blender, different names, different products, different brands. You want to use it to, you want it to be dampened so that it can absorb some of the product, so it's not all just sitting on your face. One thing I'm also trying out new first time is allowing the concealer to sit and settle just a little bit, just so that it just smoothens out a little bit more on the skin once you begin to actually like blend it out, so to speak. So I'm just letting it sit, and a good thing that I'll use next time is having like my little portable fan to dry it up a little bit. And so the forehead, under the eyes, the nose, above the lip, the chin, definitely areas to highlight, right? So let's go with this. So I am just very simply, it's still a little wet, but we're just gonna go with it. Right here you see it's the pointed tip, and I'm just dabbing it out. Yeah, it definitely has dried a bit, so this is good. So it's going to sit. And lightly on the side of the bridge of the nose. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. And so you lift up your eyes, right? And you're putting it so that like any creases under the eyes will not occur. And go over it as much as you feel that you need to let it melt into the skin. This is looking so good right now. I don't know if it's the light or I'm imagining, but I like how it's like actually setting. So actually this opportunity, this is something to say, I don't know, opportunity, I don't know what I'm talking about, but definitely allowing the concealer to sit is definitely a good thing. And so in regards to the concealer, let me say this. You should go at least a shade or two lighter than your normal skin tone, a shade or two lighter than your normal foundation. This is for the deep tone sisters, right? All right, so you want to always do all your cream products first and foremost. So I have two contours, but the one, Milk, this. Then there's also Black Opal. I'll try this out in a different video, but for today, I'm just going to use the Milk because that's been working for me. And this is a contour stick, and you could just wind it up. So I'm trying to use it lightly. I don't want to waste it all. So for me, what I've been doing is, because you want to show like structure in the face, right? So you could either dab it or do a strong line. For me, for today, I think I'm going to dab it. Nah, let's go all out, right? You see that? Because you want it to significantly look different than the product that you have. And you want it to blend into the concealer itself as well, right? And then, you know, along the hairline, so to speak, there. And then also here along the chin. Okay, guys, so. And then you want to highlight by the nose as well. So where you put like right, you see right here, I'm doing it on both sides of my concealer. Wind this. You can do 2 in 1. So you want to do all the cream products. This is like a liquid foundation that you can put right in between the contour as well as the concealer, and you can add it on as well, like I said, as you go. So now I'm just using like an angular brush. You could also use your beauty blender. Let's use the beauty blender. Powder, you want to use like a more angular puff, right? And so what I've been using lately is the 35 Maybelline FIT Loose Finishing Powder. I love it. It's a lot. So this definitely want to be light with it. Tap it off a little bit and then apply. This goes anywhere where you have applied concealer. And depending on how bright you want it to be will determine the shade. So here you see me using my puff to apply the setting powder over all of the regions of my face where concealer was applied. So this is done as a means of setting it into place. So definitely take your time to make sure that you're putting the powder in the right areas, because once you put it, it's going to stay unless you completely take your whole face off and start all over. So definitely take your time. I intermixed it with some general brushes as well as the blender. just to make sure it applied. And then I went on to add on more liquid blush because of my deeper skin tone. It was not showing as much, but you could always use powder blush as well and apply that if you want to pop it. But I wanted to keep it consistent, so I just stuck with my liquid blush for this video. And then ultimately now I'm just moving on to using this Fenty Beauty highlight, which is like a little bit of a glow shimmer. You can use that on various aspects of your face to also highlight the areas such as your cheekbones, your nose, your forehead, your chin, above your lips, wherever you feel you would like it to be applied. And it definitely works really, really, really well. Here is a lip mask that I've been using to just apply as a barrier before putting on any lip color. I also use it as part of my nighttime routine as well now, and I got it off of Shein, and it's great. And now I'm just using a brush to just take off the remaining setting powder just to clean it up. So you definitely want to do that because there may be some remaining powders on the areas. And then I transitioned over to a foundation brush just to also help smoothen out things a little bit more. And then to add on to that, I'm using a foundation powder from MAC just to make things look a little bit more consistent as well. You can decide if you want to just apply it in the areas where concealer was not applied, or as I'm doing here, I'm lightly applying it throughout the face just to make it look a little bit more even. For me as a beginner, this makes me feel a little bit more comfortable having it applied all over, and it's working. So that's what I did here. And then now I'm just transitioning into using a lip pencil. This also can serve a dual purpose as an eyeliner pencil, but for this video, I'm using it as a lip pencil just to apply some definition to the lips. And the dark brown shade definitely works well. And then I applied red. Sometimes for deeper skin tones, they say red doesn't work, but it actually looks great on deeper skin tones. So I went back in with an eyeliner, liquid eyeliner, and that's something you can do earlier on. And then to lock it all into place, all the work you do, use a setting spray. This is a Sephora brand, which has worked really well. And I just apply it all over, and it gives a nice dewy look, and that's it. You're good to go. So definitely, I hope that you guys enjoyed my video, my first makeup video here on YouTube. Definitely come back, like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback as to what you want to see again. See you next time on another episode with Lenoir Fashion Girl. Bye, guys.